Welcome everybody, my name's Shane Thompson, and this is Bible Stories in 5 Minutes. All right, hey everybody, welcome to 5 Minute Bible Stories. Tonight we apologize for not being on for the past few days because we've been moving. Obviously now we are not where we used to be. We're usually at God's Shining Light Church, but we've since moved. And now I have to escape to our barn. We moved to a little farm just north of town, and you can hear the goats now going to start talking. They've been quiet. This is where you go now to get away from 7 children. It's the only quiet place in the house until the farm animals start talking to you. But this is where we're at. This is what we're doing. So we apologize for not being around for the past few days, but we're getting it right back and going again. So tonight we're going to talk about the story of Noah. And you know, with 5 Minute Bible Stories, what we're doing is we're discussing what the Bible actually says. So a lot of times we see the stories that are brought to us in Sunday school and the children's versions, and they're not quite the actual full-blown story. So we want to get to the scripture. We want to encourage you to read the story for yourself to really see what's going on. So tonight we're going to be in Genesis chapter 6. We start a little bit before that because after Noah was 500 years old, he became a father. All right, so we're talking about a time where they were you lived a lot longer than we do now. Said in verse, we're going to start in chapter 6. It says, when human beings began to increase in number on the earth, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they choose. Then the Lord said, my spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be 120 years. Because these sons it became, okay, this one's a hard one because this we're going to talk about Nephilim. The Nephilim were, in the biblical sense, were I don't know if they're angels. I don't know exactly how it works. There's a lot of theory in how it works, but it's really interesting to discuss and to really go into. But the Nephilim were like part heavenly and mated with, or part spiritual, I guess, and mated with humans. So my theory on this, of course, is this is where the Greeks get their stories of the demigods and stuff like that. Hercules has the same type of story. So that's kind of what I think it is, but the Bible covers that as well. It says the Nephilim were on earth in those days and also afterwards. When the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them, they were heroes of old, men of renown. And if you look at Greek history, if you look at the legends, it talks about that. So it kind of makes you wonder, does it come back to that same deal? Possibly. I believe the Bible's speaking directly of some of that. And I don't know the specificness of it. I don't know how it worked. But it's biblical. And if the Bible's saying that happened, you know, it's something that we go into the book of Enoch is, I think, where it covers a lot of this, which is not canon, considered canon in the Bible, but it is referenced by the Bible. So I've read it. I've looked at it. It's really mystical. It's really spiritual. It's a lot of it's hard to read sometimes. It's a lot like reading the prophets, because a lot of prophecy, a lot of early man trying to describe heavenly things that are impossible to really understand. So the Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. The Lord regretted that he had made human beings on earth, and his heart was deeply troubled. So the Lord said, I will wipe from the face of the earth the human race I have created, and with them the animals, the birds, the creatures that move along the ground, for I regret that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. And that's where we're going to begin, with Noah and the flood. So that's really where we begin. I kind of give you that preface because this is where the 5 minutes technically starts, even though it'll probably take me a little bit longer, but we're going to get through this quickly. But I want you to encourage you to read the story for yourself. Explore the Bible. Read what it has to say for you, tell you, and let the Holy Spirit guide you through it. So here we go. Noah and the flood. This is the account of Noah and his family. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time. And he walked faithfully with God. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight and was full of violence, kind of like it is now. God saw how corrupt the earth had become, for all the people of the earth had corrupted their ways. So God said to Noah, I am going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. I surely am going to destroy both them and the earth. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood. Make rooms in it and coat it with pitch inside and out. This is how you are to how to build it. Excuse me, I'm trying to talk. The ark is to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, 30 cubits high. Make a roof for it, leaving below the roof an opening of 1 cubit high all around. Put a door on the side of the ark and make lower, middle, and upper decks. I'm going to bring flood waters on the earth to destroy all life under heavens. Every creature that has breath of life in it, everything on earth will perish. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you will enter the ark, you and your sons and your wife and your sons. You and your sons and your wife and your sons' wives with you. So, here we go. We saw there was a movie, okay? It was Noah, okay? Not biblical. This is the biblical story. It says you're to bring into the ark too, because the sons didn't have wives, and there was a whole deal. Never mind. Anyways, there was rock people. It was crazy. Don't watch it. You are to bring into the ark 2 of all living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive with you. 2 of every kind of bird, every kind of animal, and every kind of creature that moves along the ground will come to you and to be kept alive. You are to take every kind of food that is to be eaten and store it away as food for you and them. Noah did everything just as God commanded. Doesn't say rock people did it, even though the movie said it did, but don't believe movies, believe the Bible. So the Lord said to Noah, go into the ark, you and your whole family, because I have found you righteous in this generation. Take with you 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal, a male and its mate, and 1 pair of every kind of unclean animal, a male and its mate. And also 7 pairs of every kind of bird, male and female, to keep their various kinds alive throughout the earth. 7 days from now I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature I have made. And Noah did all that the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the floodwaters came into earth. And Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives entered the ark to escape the waters of the flood. Pairs of clean and unclean animals, of birds of all creatures that move along the ground, male and female, came to him, and entered the ark as God had commanded Noah. And after the 7 days, the floodwaters came on the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 7th day of the 2nd month, on that day, all the springs of the great deep burst forth. And the floodgates of heaven were opened, and the rain fell on earth 40 days and 40 nights. All the springs came up, the rains came down. On that very day, Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, together with his wife and the wives of his 3 sons, entered the ark. They had with them every wild animal according to its kind, all livestock according to their kinds, every creature moves along the ground, all the animals. Everything with wings, you name it, it was there. God had commanded Noah, and then the Lord shut them in. So who shut the ark or who shut the door on the ark? The Lord did. If you ever wondered that. For 40 days the flood kept coming on the earth, and as the waters increased, they lifted the ark high above the earth. The waters rose and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the water. They rose greatly in the earth, and all the high mountains under the entire heavens were covered. The water rose and covered the mountains in the depth of more than 15 cubits. Every living thing that moved on land perished, birds, livestock, wild animals, all the creatures that swam over the earth, and all of mankind. Everything on dry land that had breath of life in its nostrils died. Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out. People and animals and creatures that move along the ground, the birds were wiped from the earth. Only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark. You can see I had to go right here. Yeah, you hear the story. But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock that were with him in the ark, and he sent a wind over the earth, and the waters receded. Now the springs of the deep and the floodgates of the heavens had been closed, and the rain had stopped falling from the sky. The water receded steadily from the earth. At the end of 150 days, the water had gone down, and on the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark came to rest on Mount Ararat. The waters continued to recede until the 10th month, and on the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains became visible. After 40 days, Noah opened a window he had made in the ark. He sent out a raven, and it kept... See, I always thought it was a dove. It was a raven, according to my translation. He sent out a raven, and it kept flying back and forth until the water had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove. Here comes the dove. Okay. To see if the waters had receded from the surface of the ground, but the dove could find nowhere to perch because there was water all over the surface of the earth. So it returned to Noah in the ark. He reached out his hand and took the dove and brought it back to himself in the ark. He waited 7 more days and again sent out the dove from the ark. When this dove returned to him in the evening, there in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. Then Noah knew the water had receded from the earth. He waited 7 more days and sent the dove out again, but this time it did not return. By the first day of the first month of Noah's 601st year, the water had dried up from the earth. Noah then removed the covering from the ark, saw the surface of the ground was dry. By the 27th day of the second month, the earth was completely dry. Then God said to Noah, come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, all the creatures, so they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful and increase in number on it. So Noah came out together with his sons and his wife and his sons' wives. All the animals and everyone came out of the ark, one after another. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord. And taking some of the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed burnt offerings on it. The Lord smelled the pleasing aroma, said in his heart, never again will I curse the ground because of humans, even though every inclination of human heart is evil from childhood, and never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. You know, God made a covenant with Noah and his boys. He said, do what I ask you to do, and I will save you. Do what I have taught you to do, and I will bless you. He makes that covenant with us. He makes it with each and every one of you. Just listen to what he has to say. Do what he's called you to do. And as he calls you to do it, if you're faithful, he makes his covenant with you. And those blessings come with it. I want to thank you guys for joining us. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. God bless you all, and we'll see you next time.